a brother's rage, a divine warning ignored. And the first murder in human history. Today, we re-delving into the chilling tale of Cain and Abel, a story that goes far beyond mere sibling rivalry. It's a haunting narrative of unchecked emotions, divine judgment, and the devastating consequences of jealousy. This isn't just ancient history, my friends. It's a mirror to our own souls. Grab your tea or coffee and settle in. This is going to get intense. Let's set the scene. We're in the immediate aftermath of Adam and Eve's fall from grace. Paradise is lost, and humanity finds itself thrust into a world that's harsher, colder, and fundamentally broken. Yet even in this new reality, God offers a lifeline, a chance for relationship with Him. Enter Cain and Abel, the first children ever born. Cain, the eldest, tills the soil as a farmer. Abel, the younger brother, tends flocks as a shepherd. Two brothers, two different paths in life, but it is their offerings to God that will set in motion a chain of events that will echo through eternity. Now, here's where things take a dark turn. Genesis tells us that both brothers bring offerings to the Lord. Cain presents some of his crops, while Abel offers the firstborn of his flock, including the choicest portions. God's response? He accepts Abel's offering but rejects Cain's. But why? Some scholars argue it is not about the type of offering, vegetables versus meat, but about the heart behind the gift. Abel gives his best, his first fruits. Cain, he gives some of his crops, nothing specific, nothing special. And Cain, he's not just disappointed, he's furious. This is where we see jealousy rear its ugly head. Cain's anger burns hot, his envy consuming him like a wildfire. But here is the twist that makes this story so compelling. God does unleave Cain to stew in his rage. He confronts him, offering a chance at redemption. "Why are you angry?" God asks. "If you do what is right, will you not be accepted? But if you do not do what is right, sin is crouching at your door. It desires to have you, but you must rule over it." It's a chilling warning. Sin is described as a predator, waiting to pounce. This is God's mercy in action, giving Cain a chance to turn back from the precipice. But Cain doesn't listen, and what happens next is one of the most haunting moments in Scripture. Cain said to Abel, "Let's go out to the field." While they were in the field, Cain attacked his brother Abel and killed him. No struggle, no warning, just the sickening thud of brother striking brother, and the first blood spilled in human history, staining the earth. It's not just murder, it's fratricide, the killing of one's own flesh and blood. The first act of violence in human history is one of ultimate betrayal, driven by the poison of jealousy. And Abel, he becomes humanity's first martyr, a man who did right and paid for it with his life. But the story doesn't end there. God, the ultimate judge, steps in. He confronts Cain with a question that echoes through the ages. "Where is your brother Abel?" Cain's response is chilling in its callousness. "Am I my brother's keeper?" That sarcastic, cold reply has reverberated through centuries, a stark reminder of how far the human heart can fall. But God isn't fooled. "What have you done?" he demands. "Listen, your brother's blood cries out to me from the ground." Now, you might expect God to strike Cain down on the spot, but that's not what happens. Instead, God pronounces a curse. The ground that Cain has stained with his brother's blood will no longer yield crops for him. He's condemned to be a restless wanderer on the earth, cut off from the land he once tended. Yet even in this judgment, we see a glimmer of divine mercy. God places a mark on Cain, protecting him from those who might seek vengeance. It's a complex punishment justice, tempered with grace. But make no mistake, Cain is forever changed. The weight of his crime will follow him for the rest of his days. So what can we, sitting here thousands of years later, learn from this ancient tale of brotherly betrayal? First, jealousy is a gateway drug. What started as envy in Cain's heart spiraled into rage, and ultimately, murder. It's a stark warning about the dangers of letting negative emotions fester unchecked. Second, God warns before he judges. Cain had a choice. He was given a clear warning about the path he was on, but he refused to listen, letting his anger override reason and compassion. Third, we are, in fact, our brother's keeper. Cain's flippant denial of responsibility for Abel reflects a heart hardened by sin. It's a reminder that we have a duty to care for one another, to look out for our fellow human beings. And fourth, even in judgment, God shows mercy. Cain deserved death for his crime. Instead, God gave him life, albeit a life marked by his sin. This story of the first murder has left an indelible mark on human culture and theology. In Dante's Inferno, Cain is cast into the deepest circles of hell. John Steinbeck's East of Eden reimagines the Cain and Abel struggle in modern terms. Even in contemporary debates about violence, identity, and justice, the echoes of this ancient tale can still be heard. But this isn't just a Bible story, friends. It's a universal warning about the destructive power of unchecked emotions and the consequences of our choices. It's a reminder that with humility and self-reflection, we can change course before it's too late. So now, I want you to ask yourself, what are you offering in your life? Is it from a place of pride and self-interest, or a place of genuine honor and reverence? And when you feel that twinge of jealousy start to rise in your heart, will you heed the warning? Will you master that emotion before it masters you? This story of Cain and Abel isn't just ancient history. It's a mirror held up to our own souls, challenging us to examine our hearts and our actions. If this tale has shaken you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with others. Leave a comment below with your thoughts. Let's start a conversation about the lessons we can learn from this timeless narrative. And if you found value in this deep dive into Scripture, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. There's so much more to explore in these ancient texts, and I can't wait to unpack more of these powerful stories with you. Until next time, remember, the choice between being a Cain or an Abel lies within each of us. Choose wisely. Bye-bye.